I'm gonna end it before I wind up saying something that I shouldn't say. But yeah,
You'll say it in the message chat. We'll get it.
yeah, I'm gonna
I
say
mean, I
it in
don't know
the
what you could possibly say that would be that big a problem. I would love to hear what you had to say.
okay.
And that's all he needed. He didn't need me nor Anna to say it. He just had to have Theus's permission. Ignoring the two women
You
over there.
corporations was in freaking misery during the pandemic. Why? Because you didn't hold all the cards, and it was misery for you. You didn't hold the cards, you didn't hold the power, you didn't hold the prestige anymore. It went to the people. And when it went to the people, you did anything and everything to keep as many people, employment, and as much money as you possibly can. Well, and lo and behold, and I was giving everybody look at my videos back in the day when I told you if you want to move up, if you want to go to another job, if you want to extend your education, if you want to do anything, this is the perfect time to do it because they're gonna get you. They want you. They need you. Need need you. I told you that. Now the country is opening back up, and now the corporations is going, aha, it ain't as strong of a market as it was the past 2 years. So we're gonna implement every freaking stupid, idiotic rules, regulations, and bylaws that we was putting on you through the 2 years that we didn't need it. Even though the 2 years have proven that your rules and regulations and bylaws suck rocks, didn't work, was a waste of time, was not worth even implementing. It proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. And if anybody is confused at what I was saying, I can simply put it as this. You glittering morons who sit there telling people they need to come back and no more remote working. Even though it has been proven you can keep the company going with remote working. Let me go a little step further. It has also been proven, and you can look it up, that you succeeded. You made more money by remote working. Not the people, not the people, because you don't give a damn about the people. Your company made more money by remote working. And your logical thinking was, now that the country is opened up, I'm going to make these people come back to work. Why? Why? Because we're back to square one all the way since the 50s. Hey, I'm in control and I can control the people and I want them to do what I can say what I say. That's it. In a nutshell, period point blank. You could not sell me in a million years this is what's best for the country. Get that crap out of here. That has been done. It's over. Leave it alone. This is control.
Yep, it's
Pure
always been
is
control.
simple.
Mhm.
Your
If
worst case scenario is, oh my God, Zoom got that crap together and people can't um hack it anymore. You hated that crap. You hated that with a passion. And now that we have proven that we don't need to go into four walls in a ceiling and drive through 2 hours of traffic to get to a building that we didn't really want to be in to begin with, to go park in a parking space that we may or may not get, to go up 15, 20, 30 floors to sit in a cubicle all day, to sit in front of a computer and at a place that we really didn't want to be with. Instead, we would rather be home sipping coffee, smoking a cigar, looking at TV, and you still make at the same or more profit.
yeah,
I think this is personal.
yeah, I think it struck a nerve.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, but Marlon, everything you just said, and then I'm going to throw another ribbon to it. Think back, if you will, during the height of the COVID crisis when they were supposedly trying to help people out with some relief, right? And we didn't get $2,000 a month. We got like $2,000 two or three times. Okay, and
Mhm.
part of that was because they needed to make sure that the people that were being assisted stayed low. right? We can't have anybody come up during this time, because if they come up, then they may not be eligible or willing to come back to work. Because that was a storyline they wanted to try to
Yeah,
push.
that whole $300 gonna keep
Right.
me from coming to work. Yup.
Talking about people are still sitting on their savings from the whatever that thing was, the COVID relief thing. And we're like, no,
Who
no,
saved their
only
money?
people who's sitting on money like that. Because I was sitting on money for a little while, because at my income, I was above broke, way below rich, but I was able to set some of that money aside into an emergency fund, because my salary wasn't enough to get me an emergency fund, but I was able to use that for an emergency fund, right?
They didn't want you to have that, though.
They didn't want me to have that. But what they were doing, though, is they were looking at people like me and people making a lot more than me. And they were saying, look at how much money they have in their savings, as though we're representative of the rest of the economy. The vast majority of people, you give somebody $2,000, that went to their rent. That went to their groceries. That went to making sure their kids were in daycare. That money was gone the moment you gave it to them.
Gone.
On their needs. But they want to spin it. But what they're really doing is saying, hey, we can't allow the lower classes
To
to
rise
have
up.
too much room to breathe. And if you listen to what they're saying now, like now, just listen to what they're actually saying. And they're saying stuff like, here in Georgia, there were like however many thousands of people are opting not to go back to work.
Who
And
is these
they're
people?
they're opting not to go back to work, and they're just going to stay on the system, because if they go back to work, they'll make a little bit too much for the benefits that they're receiving, so they'll lose their benefits, but they won't be in a position to be able to function off of their income. That's a problem. Okay? If anybody goes to work and their job barely puts enough money in their pocket for what they would get in government assistance, the problem is the job. Okay?
Or you
Either
work
that-
for a company that tells you you should apply for government assistance, Walmart. Oh,
Thank
oops,
you. Yeah.
Sorry.
And,
I didn't say
here's
nothing.
what they really try to tell you. Here's what they really try to tell you as an American, as a patriot, and everything else. You're not a real American if you don't suffer.
Well, it's only for the
No, not
suffer class.
suffer. They say
It's
no,
only
No,
for
no,
the
no,
suffer
no.
class.
No, look at what Thea just said. If you sit on your butt and on government assistance, and at the very least for the first time, even for a short time, because as much as people want to use, that's been 2 years. 2 years is a short freaking time,
It's
folks.
an eye blink.
For 2 years, you are ahead of the game. For the first time, for most people in America, for the first time in a long time, you're actually ahead of the game.
But see, we can't live
You're
in two
not an
places at the same
American
time.
because you didn't decide to go back to work to make less money and I'm going by what Thea says. So when you were sitting on your butt, you was able to pay the rent, get food, have child care.
Perhaps.
Let's go to work so you
You
can
didn't have to
pay
have
the
child
rent
care. Your
and
children
make
were
a
at home with you.
decision between food and child care.
Right, because childcare. If the government isn't paying for it, and it's very hard to get the government to pay for your childcare, you got to be broke for that to happen. Okay,
Yep.
That's $1,200 a month in most cases. Okay,
More than that.
that money that's hard. Okay, some people don't make that in a month.
Nope.
So, but what I'm getting at is there's layers and games within the games, because that many people can't be sitting on assistance, right? You can't live in two worlds at the same time. You can't tell me that unemployment is at record lows and then tell me that people are not going to work. You can't do that. Which one is it, right?
They want you
then-
to believe it's both.
Because
Right.
they say one thing on Monday and they say the other thing on Tuesday.
And then you
There's
have
no
the
way they can
situation
tell.
where a lot of the young people, I'm saying the young people, like your Gen Zers and the younger millennials, they sat there and was like, yo, I can piece together the same money that I was making on the job by doing some gig work. But the problem with gig work, folks, and I hate to say this to you folks, first of all, there are lies being told to you. With Donald Trump early in his term, when he was trying to finesse the unemployment numbers, they made gig work an actual employment. It's not. You're a contractor. You're unemployed. You're self-employed.
Yep.
Okay. But what they did was they took gig work like Lyft and Uber, and they made those factor in. So that if you're driving for Lyft or Uber, you are considered to be employed now. But the thing about being an employee is that you're supposed to have certain things that come with being an employee. That means that your job sets your schedule. That means that your job helps you with your taxes. That means your job may or may not have benefits for you. But when you're a gig worker, you get none of those things. So that's why you really shouldn't be counted in the numbers. But they twisted it so that you would be in there. And then on top of that, they took the middle class and they say you are middle class if you make less than $250,000 a year. How is that middle class?
That's rich.
They had to stretch it so that they could hide how far down the lower branches were going. See, if we push this up, you don't see what's happening down here, right? Then you have the situation with the people working fast food, all the convenience things that people like myself partake in, right? You got these people out here working and they're like, well, nobody wants to come to work. I wonder why not. They can make more money delivering the food than cooking it. So there's so much going on, but no one wants to slow down and look at it and see each other as human beings. I mean, if we have exploding homelessness rates, right? The government is not giving out Section 8 vouchers coming out of, what's that dude's name? Sleepyhead.
Sleepy Joe.
The Gifted Hands guy. You know, the black guy that was in the office with Trump, he was over HUD.
Oh, Ben Carson. He's not
Ben Carson.
He's not the Secretary of HUD
but
anymore.
he was during that time. So they started pulling back on Section 8 housing. And then the people, you can't rent anything anymore. You can't buy anything anymore because the banks were able to come in and buy up all the real estate. So now you can't afford to even get into an apartment or get into a house. So you end up, and they won't take Section 8 vouchers because it's more risky than going to get somebody who's willing to pay cash, because there's people who will pay cash. Why should I do this government thing? They cap how much I can get paid. So you can't even, if you get the voucher, you ain't got nowhere to go use.
And good luck with that, because there's in Indiana, there's a 2-year waiting list.
Thank you. So now we got people living in these efficiency hotel motels, or living in their car, or living with 2-3 generations in the same house, and everybody in the house is broke. So it's like there's so much going on that we just don't slow down and freaking look at. People who are on government assistance. If you're on government assistance, you're not allowed to make but so much money, or they shut your ass off. People be like, well, if you can get a job paying $35,000 a year and you're getting $30,000 a year in benefits, then you should go get the job for $35,000. No, the hell you shouldn't, because if you go do that, you just lost your medical care. You just lost access to your doctors that's been keeping you alive. You just lost probably some of your housing assistance. That $30,000 of government assistance, and I know it's not that high. I'm just using that as a number.
Because I was like, what state is that?
Allows you to live like you're making 40.
You're
Yeah,
$10,000.
I would guess it would be at 15, 20. 30 is just like way.
Somebody said it to me for the longest time, and
Well, poverty is 27,000 or below.
You're $10,000 away. You're $5,000 away from poverty and government assistance.
No, my brother put it even closer. My brother told me one time, he's like, man, you ain't nothing but, what was it? You are one firing and a no from losing it all. One
Yeah.
paycheck and a no. One paycheck and a no. That's what it was.
But
Because you lose that paycheck,
that's it.
everything's done. Everything. Just one paycheck, y'all. One paycheck. I don't care what you make because it's all relative. So if your paycheck is $1,500 and that damn thing don't come,
That's it.
you're going to hold it together for about 4 days.
Parker,
By that time, it's a bad place.
Parker, the percentage is 50% of companies want people to come back in some
But
type
is
of
it
hybrid.
necessary?
No, it's not
Some
necessary.
jobs it is necessary.
I mean, if you're a
50%.
doctor or a nurse, yes.
No,
But-
50% of
labor
people.
jobs.
50% of let me
Construction
answer the
worker.
man. Let me answer him.
Oh, I
okay.
was talking to Tracy. Sorry.
50% of companies want their employees to come back in either permanent or a hybrid version of it. 61% of people want to flat out work from home. Okay, y'all can go
Who are
back.
these
to
people that want to
Well,
go
here's the
back to
thing
the
about
office?
that. Because now, corporate theists got to say something here. It is hard managing people. This is it is. Because people don't have any, and I'm speaking in generalizations, I know, but this is very accurate, I believe. People don't have any appreciation for what their company actually does and actually pays for. They view their companies as though their company is only there to take from them. And that is a toxic way to look at things, because that means you're at work goofing off as much as you can find a way to goof off. You're trying to do as little as possible to get through the day. Well, if you hired someone to come to your house and fix your sink, but every time you step out of the kitchen, they stop working, or you're supposed to be done with the sink in 2 days and it's already a week. We're a week past deadline. That's the type of situation that you have a lot of these employers in. So yes, you have people who are working remote, but some people, I would dare say most people, need to be supervised personally in order to actually do their job. And that's a very unfortunate thing.
I disagree.
You
with
do
that
disagree,
so
and that's
much.
fine. And you can make your point in just 1 second. But what I'm saying is, when you're managing these people, that's what happens. Is you working in a call center and everybody's on the floor, you have mass management that happens. The person sitting next to you, they notice that you are taking longer in your after call work. They notice. And eventually they start making noise about it. They either start saying something to you, or they say it to the people around you, or whatever. But it starts to be noticed. But when you work at home and you can hang on that after call work just a little bit longer. Now, that's just one side of the table. On the other side, companies need to do a better job of their brake system so that people are not stuck on a phone just hearing beep, beep, beep. That's soul crushing. But I'm speaking just from the side of why a lot of companies want people to come back to the office. It's not all negative. It's mostly negative, but it's not all negative, you know? And I think a big piece of this all the way around, trust people. Not trust them to just work when you're not watching, because people don't. I'm sorry. I've managed too many people. But trust people with information. You're not teaching people what it takes to run a business. You're not teaching people the decisions that you're having to make. You're not sharing with people in a real way how the budget and payroll and overhead and all of these things work together. You're not sharing with people that even though you're working from home, you're still under my workers' comp insurance. So when you're in my building, I can control things around you to minimize the opportunity for you to hurt yourself. But if you're at home and you hurt yourself while you're on the clock, even though you were goofing off, that could still hit my workers' comp insurance. So now I got to handle a claim and my premiums go up and my costs go up. So I would rather have you here than you at home falling down your stairs. So it's so much that goes into it, but people only look at what's the least I can do for this company that I hate. Well, Your company then is going to have the same stinking ass attitude you do. And they're going to look at you as like, how much can I wring out of this person in a day? And now you have a problem.
Tracy, hold on for a second. Let me take this real quick because me and Theus has always been head-butted on this stuff. And I love Theus with all my heart. I'd give a rat's ass what you management people think. I couldn't care less.
Okay, so when the business closes, it's on you, right? What you gonna do now?
I don't care. I couldn't care.
What you gonna do now?
Because you was feeling like that when I was coming to the building. And that little lazy person that you knew doggone well was lazy, now you think she was really lazy when she was home? And by the way, your most concern is that little girl was falling down the stairs at her house. Hey, you may want to think, it may not be a company thing, it may be you. But the most important thing of all of this, of all of these things, is I don't care about how you feel is best for the company for me to come to work when your profits was up when we was at home. So, maybe we should come back to work. My job is not to make your management job easier. That
Actually,
is
it kinda is.
not my concern. I don't care. Figure it out just like you want us to figure it out.
Well,
I
see,
don't
now what I
care.
was presenting was one side of it, and I actually kind of talked on both sides of it a little bit. But the company has an obligation to the employees too, and the employee has an obligation to
Really?
the employer. And see, the problem is that employees feel like the company should have an obligation towards them, and not in the reverse. Well, I'm paying you to perform a task and to do a service, so you should do that task and that service to the best of your abilities. And then
isn't
I
being
should be
done in the
creating an
best
environment.
at home.
Okay, so then start your own business and work from home.
Why?
You can't tell me how to run my business
Why? Why should I have
because
to
you
do
want to work from home.
that? Right.
But this,
So work from
The
home.
point that I have proven that I have the ability to succeed. See, here's the
This
deal.
ain't your company. This ain't your company.
Let's just cut the crap. You
Cut the crap. You cut the crap.
My job by the end of the day is to make you money. It ain't for me to make my own rules. It ain't to make my own regulations. It ain't make the rules and bylaws. Let's call it the way it is. My job is to make sure that you make the most money off of me as you possibly can. The rest of that stuff, that's control. You could care less what anything I do as long as you are getting the best out of me as
You
what I
kind of
have.
personal, bro. I'm
I'm
sorry
not
if you work for a company that ain't doing you right, but what I'm saying is,
I'm not taking it personal.
oh boy, I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Marlon. Oh gosh.
of course you do. You shared that before, and that's
Because-
fine. I'm not saying everybody need to agree with me.